a new initiative to decipher the mysterious Indus script, the rediscovery of two previously unknown cities of the Roman Empire. Our ancestors reached Europe earlier than we thought. Surprising hunting techniques from 7,000 years ago. Another secret revealed about the Bayeux Tapestry. These are the stories I've come across this week, and I'll be covering them below. The magazine Archaeology News reports that a prize has been offered for deciphering the Indus script. When we think of ancient civilizations, Egyptian or Sumerian culture often come to mind. But around the same time, there was also an early civilization along the Indus River in the northwest of the Indian subcontinent. This Indus civilization, lasting roughly from 2500 BC to 1900 BC, already had its own system of writing, the Indus script. When that civilization ended, its writing system was lost as well. It wasn't until the 3rd century BC that writing reappeared on the Indian subcontinent in the form of Brahmi. To this day, the Indus script remains undeciphered. Although we have around 4,000 examples on seals, pottery, and tablets, nearly all of these inscriptions are extremely short, typically just 5 or 6 characters. The longest known inscription features 34 characters. Such short texts make deciphering the script extremely difficult. There are several hypotheses about its nature. Some researchers believe it might be an early form of Brahmi or an early form of Sanskrit, but none of these theories have been definitively proven. Now, the government of Tamil Nadu, the southernmost state of India, has offered $1 million reward for anyone who successfully deciphers the script. Because of this financial incentive, more researchers are using machine learning and other forms of artificial intelligence to tackle the ancient puzzle. However, some experts doubt whether machine learning alone can truly crack the code. A study has been published on Taylor and Francis Online, reporting the discovery of two previously unknown Roman-era cities. About 2 years ago, an unusual theory made the rounds on social media. Apparently, men think about the Roman Empire at least 3 times a week. Indeed, few other periods in history are so thoroughly researched and still so present in our lives today. Fans of the Roman Empire will be intrigued to learn that 2 previously unknown Roman settlements appear to have been discovered in northern Israel. A boundary stone which had been reused as a grave cover mentions the villages Tirathas and Golgol. Inscribed in Greek, it's 1,720 years old. Back then, Rome was ruled by the so-called Tetrarchy, or 4 emperors. The basalt boundary stone names, among others, the 2 Augusti, Diocletian, and Maximian. At the time, such stones were used to mark the agricultural boundaries of the villages. The magazine Nature reports on a study suggesting that our ancestors may have reached Europe earlier than previously believed. According to current science, the cradle of humanity lies in South Africa, where the last common ancestor of humans and chimpanzees lived. But when did the first early humans arrive in Europe? The oldest known hominin remains in Europe date to around 1.4 million years ago, although there are well-known traces in the country of Georgia, in the Caucasus, dating back about 1.8 million years. Now, new findings point to possible early human activity in Romania. In the vicinity of Grăunceanu, thousands of Ice Age animal bones, mostly from mammoths, ancient horses, and saber-toothed cats, were unearthed in the mid to late 20th century. These remains were recently analyzed again using new methods, and researchers were surprised to find cut marks typical of butchering on multiple bones. These bones can be dated to over 1.95 million years old. Although no stone tools or early human fossils have been found at the site so far, researchers see the discovery as clear evidence that hominins were present there, which would be far earlier than previously assumed. It's likely these early humans didn't stay in cooler parts of Europe year-round. According to the researchers, they probably ventured north when climate conditions briefly became milder. Elsewhere across Eurasia, there is additional evidence of early humans dating back over 2 million years. For example, stone tools dating to around 2.12 million years ago have been discovered in China. The magazine Archaeology News reports on surprising hunting techniques used by people 7,000 years ago. In Homer's Odyssey, from the 8th century BC, we read about the hero Odysseus supposedly using poisoned arrows, likely treated with oriental hellebore. Now, researchers at Kruger Cave in South Africa have made a discovery that's 5,000 years older, and definitely not just a legend. They found the femur of an antelope pierced with 3 bone arrowheads, indicating that hunters must have shot it with these arrows 7,000 years ago. What makes these arrows unique is their toxic coating. It contained two separate components, making this the oldest known case of a multi-ingredient poison on weapons. These substances are so-called cardiac glycosides, digitoxin and strophanthodin. They increase the heart's pumping power while lowering the heart rate and are still used medically, for instance in treating atrial fibrillation. Of course, the dose makes the poison. At high levels, these compounds can be deadly. By using these two toxins, the hunters could significantly improve their odds of a successful kill. Another interesting point, the poison plants used aren't native to the area around Kruger Cave. That means the hunters either had to travel quite a distance to get them, or there was already a well-established trade network in place. Files.org reports that, thanks to a tapestry, historians have now identified the royal residence of a king. About 15 years ago, I visited a special exhibition at the Archaeological Museum in Frankfurt am Main. It was titled The Last Vikings, the Bayeux Tapestry. This embroidered cloth strip measures 68 meters long and 52 centimeters high, and broadly speaking, it tells the story of the Norman conquest of England in 1066. The artifact was shown in Frankfurt as a photographic reproduction at half its size, and it was still an unforgettable experience. Even though the tapestry is so old and many of its details have already been explored, it still holds surprises. Now it appears that the long-lost residence of Harold Godwinson, the last Anglo-Saxon king of England, has been identified through clues in the tapestry. On the tapestry, Harold is shown attending a feast in an extravagant hall in Bosham, one of his main seats of power. This area housed his harbour, personal fleet, and perhaps even a hunting park. But the exact location of the property had remained a mystery for centuries. In 2006, the remains of a large wooden building, complete with a latrine, were discovered in Bosham. A latrine would have been quite unusual at the time, hinting at an important structure. Combined with the repeated, detailed depictions of the building on the Bayeux Tapestry and the archaeological finds, this excavation site in Bosham can now be identified with high probability as the residence of Harold Godwinson, England's last Anglo-Saxon king. If you'd like to hear more news from history, check out the video linked here.